Hello, folks. I'm watching some content this morning on YouTube, something I rarely get opportunity to do. A channel with over 7 million viewers does documentaries. Filming a decent documentary about the situation in South Africa, saying it's on the verge of chaos. And in it, they go to squatter camps where poor white South Africans, Afrikaners in particular, are living in these camps, suffering immensely. And it's interesting. One of the gentlemen who was interviewed had his pay stub from when he worked at a mine and a certificate of achievement for being the best miner in a quarter at that mine, only to have found himself unemployed 3 years ago. He was let go because he's white. Now, this is pure out-and-out racism and nonsense, this effort to exclude white South Africans from the environment, from the work environment, from the workplace, from education. And it does affect a lot of people, and the numbers are growing by the day as racist legislation continues, the most recent being an effort to employ no more than 4% of managers in private companies who are white. That's just despicable. Now, this was immoral, illegitimate, unfair, unjust, and simply wrong during the apartheid era. This is even more insidious. That was a minority lording over majority, which had the prospect of overcoming the minority. But a powerless minority today, one falsely characterized as being wealthy, one falsely being characterized as owning all the land in South Africa, one falsely characterized as having all the power, is even more insidious. And I just want to say that, people coming to my program trying to learn about the refugee program, and when we talk about the fact that you need a passport, a number of people will complain and moan about that. Well, it's a lot of money. Now, recently I said it's not a lot of money. And in fact, it's not a lot of money. $32 thereabouts, 600 Rand to get a passport. Now, if you've got several children, you're going to need passports for all of them, so it becomes more. But I suspect some people may think that I'm uncaring or disconnected from what it's like to be poor. But I know what it's like to be poor and go without meals. I know what it's like to live off of public assistance and be embarrassed by that. I know what it's like to not have transport when you have to walk miles to get from place to place. I have experienced that in my life. But I didn't let that keep me down. And it's not uncaring or callousness towards those who don't have money. Recently, when I was in South Africa, I was asked, why don't I visit white squatter camps? Well, for the same reason that I don't visit black squatter camps, generally speaking. Those are dangerous places oftentimes, and you're not welcome there unless you know someone who will take you around. And a perfect example of this is Philadelphia Arc, west of Pretoria, where someone wrote to me and asked me to come out there. And I made a genuine effort. I couldn't find it. It's not on a map. And I was given poor directions, not intentionally. Some with good intentions sent me to the wrong place. The good news, it was generally in the direction I was headed. And I wound up in a place where it wasn't Philadelphia Arc. And it wasn't explained very well. I was told it was a squatter camp. But in fact, it wasn't a squatter camp. It's an informal settlement on someone's farm. And they've set conditions for people to live there. Very reasonable conditions. So I went to another location. And that wasn't it either. I'm sitting at the base of the Mahalisburg, at the base of a hill in the middle of nowhere with a locked gate. And finally, I was able to contact somebody who put me in touch with the right people, and I drove to the correct location about 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers where I was sitting at. I waited about 45 minutes. Someone showed up, and then they took me over and introduced me to the lady, Amela, who actually is responsible for that settlement. She had no idea I was coming, and I had no idea the person inviting me was just one of the residents there. I thought it was the person responsible for the place. So I went in good faith, and I visited, and she was quite polite and stopped her day to show me around and took me around and showed me the informal settlement there and the fishing pond and their recycling place, their dining facility, and the places where people lived, and saw kids there and adults. And I actually ran into one of my viewers who lives right next to her, which was pretty exciting. Thank you for that. And her husband gave me his dog tags. It was so unnecessary, but very kind, and I appreciate it. And they're here. I have those dog tags sitting in my living room. So what I want to say is that for people who walk away from my videos thinking it's callous indifference, it's not. It's not. When I tell you that it's not much money. It's trying to inspire people to do something to get out of your circumstances. Now, I went to Philadelphia Arc with good intentions. I understand that after I left, a number of people badmouthed me and talked nonsense about me. But I can say that it wasn't the lady who showed me around. It wasn't my viewer. It wasn't the gentleman who showed up who were involved with the water company that's there. And I appreciate that. And it also wasn't the owner that I'm aware of. Anyway, but the point is that I don't think any of those people say anything bad about me. And if people want to say something bad about me, that's on them. As I understand it, many people go to Philadelphia Arc and get tours And I don't know what their intent is. My intent was simply to satisfy the request to go there and film it and discuss it. And I'll intersperse this video with some images of the place. But the bottom line here is that when I say it's not a lot of money, many people smoke. Do without your cigarettes for a while. Many people drink alcohol. Go without alcohol or cut down your consumption for a little while and squirrel that money aside to pay for that fee. Or ask someone, ask a relative, stand on the street corner and beg. There are ways to raise the money. If you truly want out of the circumstances you're in, you will find a legal way to do these things, to raise the money. It's as simple as that. I can't help everyone. I get hundreds of messages asking for help. I can't help all those people. I'm not resourced like that. I can point people in the correct direction sometimes, but not always. The point of this video is that I'm trying to convey that many of us understand the suffering that Black, white, and South Africans are going through, living in abject poverty, a consequence of racist laws that have undermined entrepreneurialism, drive, and productivity in South Africa to satisfy a racist agenda, to achieve certain quotas, largely to exclude white South Africans from South Africa's workspaces. And the impact of that is negative on all South Africans, Black, white, and brown. The government has failed. In fact, the number of Black South Africans living in poverty is 3 times what it was under the National Party. These laws have failed South Africans, and they'll continue to fail South Africans. And until the ANC and the government of national unity change course and remove racist laws and remove racist policies and promote people based on merit and invest money in education instead of lowering education standards and allowing prepubescent and pubescent girls to be preyed upon by sexual perverts in places like KwaZulu-Natal, impregnating them, infecting them with HIV, until education is cleaned up, until genuine investment is made, until racist laws are removed, South Africa will continue to circle the drain and very well may be pulled in under by the vortex. Folks, if you're poor, you deserve respect, but only if you have respect for yourself and you have the drive to improve your situation. What say you, folks? Cheers.